how can my team really effectively collaborate and be innovative if we're all dispersed in our home offices and not getting together all the time? This idea of the whiteboard, you need the guys around the whiteboard, or the people around the whiteboard, to be able to figure out, brainstorm and come up with new ideas. Communication as well. So again, it depends on your experience. So if you weren't well set up to communicate, a lot of organizations had never used Zoom for work, right? Had never had that experience. So suddenly you're trying to figure out even how to do that properly, how to set it up, and how to engage with each other. Some companies went down the road of over communicating too many Zoom meetings, back-to-back Zoom meetings, and then everybody had Zoom fatigue, and that was quite a negative experience. So that depending on your point of view, how it's been for you in terms of how your organization has been communicating, that is definitely a concern. Now, with all of these things, I have to add, in our experience at Grow Remote, there are ways to overcome all of these challenges. Grow Remote are a fully remote company. We don't have an office. Now, we're quite small, right? So we're a small team, 10 people. And we do see some of those challenges ourselves. We have experienced them. But there are methods and policies and processes and techniques that you can put in place to overcome them. You have to be very intentional about it, though, because I think the mistake a lot of organizations made was thinking they could just uproot the office and transfer it to the home, and then let's just keep working as we did. But you can't do that. You have to really change your internal processes, internal policies, your culture. All of this has to change, because it's not the same as working in an office. I can't just get up from my desk and pop over to my colleague and ask a question. My colleagues are all over Ireland, So the more intentional an organization is about it, the more deliberate they are, the less they leave to chance, the less they assume, oh, it'll just happen organically. People will just kind of connect with each other anyway, because people are people. No, that's not the case, because it's not the same when you're working virtually. So be intentional, look at your communication, plan specific ways to keep your teams engaged. But remember that we work with companies all the time who are fully remote, and they're so innovative. We've some of our employer partners, we work with a lot of fully remote companies like Flipdish. They're one of Ireland's most recent unicorns. They are 100% remote. They don't, I think they have an office, but they rarely use it. And, they've been hugely successful. We also work with Shopify. I mean, Shopify is a big employer in Ireland. They were remote before the pandemic. Very innovative company, have no problem with communication. Everybody's able to collaborate. So there are ways to do it. It can be done. It just requires a lot of thinking, a lot of consultation, and a lot of intentional, deliberate planning.